Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. First, let's say it early just in case I don't get to stream tomorrow, but I should be because Mr. Z's working tomorrow, because of course I am. Um, it's called cuffing season for a reason. But before we say that, before we get into that, um, happy Indigenous Slaughter Day tomorrow. Y'all go ahead and eat y'all turkey. And remember how this land was acquired. Um, Rest in peace to the millions and millions and millions of indigenous folks. I know we have brothers that believe that black people, not just black Americans, because it wouldn't even be America back then, but black people were here, right? And like they believe that there's this whole different narrative about black people being brainwashed to believe that they were bought on slave ships. Everybody done been in that debate with an uncle. Let's stop pretending like we don't know what Mr. Z is saying. I don't necessarily buy into that narrative, but either way, right? Happy once again Slaughter Native American Day tomorrow. So y'all go ahead and enjoy your turkey. Um, let's get into it. So I was in a conversation with a coworker. Was it last week or was it earlier this week? I want to say it was last week. Latino guy, cool as a fan. You know, the Latinos who mom was kind of out here, so he's mixed white Latino. His older sister is mixed black and white. So mom was just mom was just and he explained to me the story before, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so cool as a fan, cool dude. And we got into a conversation because the brother's into yoga and he goes to burlesque shows and stuff like that. So just kind of different cat. And he's chilling out with one of the young ladies. And I was like, oh, so you got your little something for cuffing season. No, that's not how it went. He told me the situation, and I was like, oh, cuffing season. And he was like, cuffing season. So mind you, he's a couple years younger than me. So we're not speaking about someone that's like 22. We're speaking about someone that's like mid-30s. I never heard of cuffing season before. I was like, and I explained it to him. It was like, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And he swear that he's gonna be able to let it go at the end. And I'm like, it depends. If she likes you enough, she might not let it go, right? And so I guess I'm using that to say to some of my younger brothers that might be listening, y'all be careful for cuffing season. Don't get too attached. It might go longer than just this season. It might not. For those of you that don't know what cuffing season is, it is relationships that start about last month, earlier this month, right? And cuffing season is men and women, primarily women, feeling lonely during these holidays. And so they're more open, or they're looking for, depends, for someone to bring to Thanksgiving, for someone to exchange gifts, buy them something for Christmas, for someone to spend New Year's with, for someone to exchange gifts with, buy them something for Valentine's Day. And just about after Valentine's Day is when things start to fizzle out, right? So cuffing season. And it's just because, this time of the year, this is the time of the year that really reminds people, if they're single, that they're single, et cetera, but particularly women. Like, perfect example, my lady and her mom are going to be running around. My mom is in Orlando with my younger sister. So, people are peopling around me. I work tomorrow. Yeah. The lonely thing, meh. When I was single, nah, I didn't really feel it like that. I was on a mission, right? So, but for women, it's a little bit different. And once again, this is why for some of them, they're a little bit more open. And for others, they're actually actively seeking for someone to approach them and be their little boyfriend for the season. And it will less be dating. It will be more boyfriend experience, right? They do want to go out, but it's less about dating and it's more about the full-on boyfriend experience for the next few months, right? So y'all be careful. I'm not telling you not to partake, but understand that most likely it doesn't, carry over after about Valentine's Day, right? Grinch. I ain't even gonna read it out loud. Uh, I mean that. I mean, yeah, yeah, that too. If you don't want to have a kid, yes, that too. Um, hysterical. Oh man. Oh man. Who said something about sticky backs? Anyway, hysterical. Oh man. And Nemesis, what about my dad? My dad will be spending time with my older sister. Because Z is going to be running around. So that part. And that was hysterical, Grinch. But yeah. So once again, cuffing season. Um, so I wanted to also bring up Themis has a live that he did. I can't remember what the title was, but I found it intriguing, so I will be probably listening to it. Um, Later on today, we might come back with a stream later on tonight speaking about it. There's that. Um, I wanted to also speak about why I am doing what I'm doing. Um, I've been mulling over um understanding that there might be some people on the some of our detractors listening is the best way I can say it. Or just some people that are intrigued by what we say here, or they study what we say here, even if they disagree, that might be listening in. There was a previous stream I was replaying to myself of me, and shout out to the brother Compassion and Callous, and I said something along the lines because I think I was responding to our favorite colorist queen Chrissy, and I was like, let me find out such and such listens or such and such listens. And Compassionate and Callous said in the comments, they all listen, bro. And I thought about that, and I've been mulling that over and thinking to myself, you know what? If they do, there's a lot to take from this. I want to be very clear that it's not just about ranting. It's not just about poking fun. It's not just about mocking them, although we will be engaging in some of that. Um, you know, it is about, well, y'all never considered the men really, and then you thought you could not consider the men and then still have great outcomes that are still dependent on the men. How in the hell? That is why what Samantha Cooker said in that moment of honesty spoke to BGS, but it also spoke to me, which is this swirler divester thing might have driven black men further away. And then we're not engaging with white dudes. Y'all are trying. That's the part she didn't want to add, but it failing. Um, you know, as I said, this is why you let them talk. This is why I say the internet will expose us all. These people engage with some of our thoughts now. They're almost forced to. And in their moments of honesty, this is why, by the way, I listen to them when they're beefing with each other, because in their moments of honesty, they tell the truth about themselves and they tell the truth about the other person, right? And I think this is a perfect comment right here. And Lion says they overestimate their own nature and underestimate men's nature. And there you go, right? Not really appreciating how much of their nature has been bolstered and defended by the state, right? By the powers that be. So now they're really smelling their own farts. It's not that they're not powerful. I do believe that these, women have their own type of power, and we're not saying that they're not. What we're saying is you might have not really understand why you're in the position you're in because the state has bolstered you. Once again, you have to ask yourself, what is it about women writ large, including black women, where the state would rather back you than the men? And if you think, especially, and I'm specifically speaking of black women here, right? If you think it's because you're just inherently better or more disciplined, then I think you really need to open a history book and remember who the hell you're dealing with. I'm not talking about black men. Maybe you need to open a history book and realize who the hell you're dealing with. The same people that wrote Machiavelli, right? Right? The 48 Laws of Power type thing. Yeah, that's who you're dealing with, right? The people that don't think that the word insidious is a bad thing, right? The people that calling them duplicitous, right? So, you know, I actually, and thank you for that line, because I actually remember reading this comment and I can't remember, and this was years ago. I think this might have even been before I made myself known in the Black Manosphere. And it was it a Chrissy video? I can't remember. I remember watching this video and it was a comment in the comment section. And a woman was a black woman that said something like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with allying with these other people, right? And it was essentially saying there's nothing wrong with allying with white men or white women to get what we want, F black men. And another woman, kind of being a little bit smarter, responded to her like, these people are going to stab us in the back. And the other woman said, well, black men do it too. We just got to be careful. And like, these are the type of comments, right, that they say to each other in their spaces when they think we're not looking. And so the smarter woman is telling her, like, do you understand what the hell? Like, it's not that she's an advocate for black men, but the first woman was like F black men and F black men forever so much that she couldn't be told by like both of y'all are subscribers or at least listeners to if it was Chrissy or I can't remember if it was Chrissy or Paris or whichever one of these, right? Yanni or whichever one of them. It could have even been Mahogany Pink or one of them. Like, I can't remember, but for the first woman to be so F black men that another black woman who's at least close enough to you to be listening to or watching this video, for her to say, bro, you realize, like, at the end we're still probably gonna lose. Black men are just gonna get thrown off the bus first, but white people ain't really messing with us like that, right? So I'm bringing all of that up to say this is the kind of like mentality that some of these people have. And the reason why I said the internet will expose us all is because that might have been a comment in a hair salon 25 and 30 years ago that even some black men might not have been privy to. But now that comment, if that video hasn't been deleted or that person didn't go back and delete their comment, that comment is on the internet right now for the world to see. Right? Now we understand that our little spaces on black social media, you know, some people engage with it, and we know at the tunes of tens to hundreds to thousands to hundreds of thousands, often not millions, but either way. But that comment is still there in perpetuity until someone deletes it or deletes the video for other people to see that there are black women that will ally with whoever to snub black men and to think that they're going to get their little crumb and run, right? Y'all ever see, you know, some folks when they're giving squirrels like the peanuts and stuff like that, and you see the squirrels run up and they grab their little peanut and they run back to the tree? Yeah, that, right? And shout out to black women who think you're actually be able to do that, and that eventually white folks don't come down and chop the whole goddamn tree down or burn it down. Y'all got way too comfortable with this current dynamic, right? So the reason why we are here is to take advantage of the fact that we have a microphone right now. How long will we have a microphone? We don't know. Apparently, it only took us about a decade, and not only do we have a microphone, but other people are listening. Our detractors are listening. Scheming ass white folks are listening. Non-black people, non-black, non-white people are listening. Other black men clearly are listening. And what that's done is it's given us a space for the first time in a few decades, maybe the first time in American history, maybe, to actually have our say without it being filtered and without it being directed to a shucking and jiving ass Negro, or a I'll sanitize it and get what I need from it as black woman, BLM anyone, or LGBT worse than once again do what does what white women do. Excuse me, black women do. Freudian slip there. Do what black women do, and once again just replace you and your plight with them and their plight. Oh, by the way, using you and your death, right? So there's that, and yeah, right. So we have to take advantage of this moment in time, where we actually give our say, and it's not always going to be about the relationship between black men and black women, although that is the important part, because without the family unit, then what are we? A lot of this is going to be about the relationship between black men and everyone else. That's going to be interesting, right? That's going to be the interesting part. We already know how far black women are willing to go to practice negative liberty, particularly concerning their relationship to black men, to heterosexual black men. And they use the state, let's call the thing a thing. They use the state to regulate Negroes and keep us in our place so that the gynocracy could continue. We already established this, and it is, if it hasn't been well documented at this point, I don't know what else needs to be said or done or seen. Patriarchy is for white men, and the gynocracy is for black men, right? That is what we're being told so subtly, not so subtly, on these interwebs, and that we've been being told by black women pretty much since the end of Reconstruction, really since the end of Jim Crow, really since the end of Jim Crow, and that's not even up for debate. So I think that the more brothers that produce content and that say something about black men's agency, the better, right? The better. Because we need more voices. But you have to understand that you're not just talking to black people. I need to stress that. You have to understand that you are not just people, right? So, going back to speaking about these people that might be listening in, and I'm speaking about other black or people that just listen for the spectacle. Me knowing that Chrissy at least listens to a couple of videos, or at least the ones where I tag her or I share the video, I can see her addressing what I said, because she know I mind, not a woman that's probably not checking. So Chrissy, you're trying to tell me that you've been, and this is, I'm saying her name in particular because she's the one person that we're pretty sure is listening to me, but I'm saying this not just about Chrissy. Not all of them I think listen, but I'm pretty certain, we're pretty certain that Chrissy listens. We're not 100% certain about all the others. I might be borging now. If I'm not, thank God. If I am, if I'm not, let me get a 1 in the comments. If I am, well, y'all let me know if I'm borging or not. I might be, because I think I'm in a dead area right now. Watching Chrissy address what I've said, and also, so when you're a content creator, you never know who's listening, and you have to be careful with your words. This is something I walked into the Black Manosphere understanding. I've tried my hardest not to cross the lines. I'm pretty sure I have once or twice. But it also let me know, okay, you're going to have to grapple with what I'm saying. This is not just a I am attempting to shame you. This is why I'm not anti SBE. I want to be very clear. The reason why I engage in SBE is because I am trying to shame you. You absolutely freaking right. I am gonna blame you for certain things that your subscribers go across the internet saying. You're absolutely right. I am going to explain to you the weight of your words. You're absolutely right. I am going to leave you no space for plausible deniability, no space to lie to yourself when one of your subscribers says or does something absolutely insane or heinous. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. Okay, so now I'm borging again. Am I borging now? Can anyone hear me? Or am I borging? Am I borging? Hopefully I'm not. Let's get a one in the comments if I'm not borging. If you can hear me clearly, if you can hear me clearly, let's get a one in the comments. Okay, so that means you guys cannot hear me. Okay, give me a second, yo. Oh, we got a one. Okay, we got a one. Okay, I'm not borging. Perfect. Okay. As I was saying, I don't know if y'all heard that. So the shame, blame, and explain. This is why I'm not anti-SBE. Yes, I'm going to shame them. Yes, I'm going to blame them. Yes, I'm going to explain to them. So, yes, I'm going to shame them for their rhetoric over the past how many years. Yes, I'm going to blame them for their subscribers, right? Their acolytes, their advocates who go around the internet speaking absolutely recklessly. Um, and yes, I'm going to explain to them the weight of their words and what they say and how they advocate and what could potentially happen. That's why I'm so careful with my words. I said it coming in like to the Black Manosphere. Look, young black boys and young black men still have to experience this. Don't be weary, be careful, but you still have to have these experiences, right? What we're trying for not what we're trying for it not to happen to you is for you to get exploited, for you to be used, but you have to have these experiences. You have to go out in the dating world, right? What we have is our detractors and the women on the other side. They try to escape being black by everything, by money, by status, by dealing with a white dude, non-black man. And all it boils down to is a hatred of themselves. They can call it hating black men, and I do think they do. And I've explained multiple times why I think they do. Right? Right? We've explained it multiple times why they have an issue with black men. Because we haven't made them, once again, upper middle class white women. But there's nothing wrong with shaming these people. I want to be very clear. Absolutely shaming these people. And yes, they're going to throw in our face, well, but you called us fat. And, oh, Mr. Z wasn't supposed to say that now, was I? And you're mean and you make fun of our features. Your point? Right? Your point? See, I said it before. Let me say it again. Someone calling you ugly, the appropriate response isn't to abort them. I know, black women. Novel new idea. I know. Right? Someone making fun of your nose or your skin tone or someone that's just not physically attracted to you, the appropriate response is not to say, well, white men do it better and white men are better anyway. Look the hell of it. Nope. I'm sorry. Yep. Nope. I know. It's not fair. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah, it's not fair. Mm-hmm. Right. So now that we know that some of these people listen, It's important to tell them the weight of their words. This is why we have Chrissy now saying, well, I don't make content for everyone. I don't make content for, I just make content for, no, 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 no. That's not how you were talking 2 and 5 years ago and 6 years ago. Oh, no, nope, nope, nope. You meant everything you said. You meant it then. You meant it yesterday. You have to own the weight of what you've been saying on these internets for close to a decade, right? You got to own it. You have to own what that's going to mean for even your own subscribers. Chrissy, I want to be very clear to Chrissy. The vast majority of your own subscribers, yes, swirlers, are still not going to end up with the white dude. All you did was give them more insecurities. That's all you've done. All you did, that's why you bought Zach on, is make them bigger targets for white men. And you already know, brothers, most brothers ain't following behind no goddamn white man, especially not in the 21st century. So you're going to probably make these women perpetually single after the fact. So, thank you from black men and black women for taking how many black women out of the dating scenes when they become bust downs for white dudes. Thank you, Chrissy. Right. Ain't nothing funnier than when you come across these swirlers on the internet and these divestors on the internet. Oh, I love swirling. I've been swirling for 15 years. What? I've been swirling for 5 years, 10 years. You ain't got no wedding ring yet? Right. Hmm. And Mr. Shook to you says, but Z, most claim they don't want to be in a relationship because they don't want to lose their identity and autonomy. How does divesting help that? Okay. And this is something I've spoken to. Let's just go right to it. It's the commodification of men and masculinity. It is a very neoliberal lens of relationship, men and masculinity. In other words, what they're saying is average men, particularly average black men, aren't worth me losing my autonomy. This is how I'm reading it, right? And y'all to let me know if y'all agree or disagree. How I'm reading it is average black men aren't worth me losing my autonomy. And this is once again, I mean, like this is what Yanni is saying. So yeah, let's peer into Mr. Z's mind real quick. Be careful, be careful. Watch all the trash. Watch all the insanity. Don't trip over that. um, when Yanni says, what's the incentive? I don't want to be kept woman of leisure. She's literally saying the same thing these other women are saying, right? As you said, Mr. Shook to you, she's literally saying what these other women are saying, right? Which is, what's the incentive? I would much rather have my autonomy, nothing wrong with that, and be independent than be in relationship with this man who still has a say in my life. That doesn't mean we're black. That doesn't mean for most black men they dictate to women. They don't. But she doesn't want to have to consider anything you say, period. Guess what? There's nothing wrong with that. That's the beauty of living in America, right? There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is that loneliness and that singleness cost. It literally costs money. It literally costs time. See, you hear black women, particularly women in general, but black women bragging about, yeah, but when we're not married, we live longer. And yeah, a miserable, lonely existence, but longer. How many studies come out about, people being, less happy or women being less happy, 5% this or this and that over the past 50 years or however it's rated, right? If you were truly happy, you wouldn't be engaging with the conversation. How about that? How about that? If you were truly happy, if you really didn't care, you would not be engaging with the conversation. That means you wouldn't even be over there on the woman's side of the conversation, cheering those women on, telling them how much black men don't matter. You know, if you really didn't care, if you were really happy, if black men were really of no consequence to you, you would not be engaging in the conversation, right? So the autonomy and I also like to give a cost for these things. So I don't disagree with you, Mr. Shook to you. The reason why we also say let them talk is for the future and for the present, right? For the present, for people like Dr. Richard Reeves, for people like Christine Imba, right? For people like Dr. Scott Galloway, for people like Kimberly Crenshaw. This is why you say let them talk, so that you could direct these people. You see that comment, and what are black men supposed to do with that? And I want to be very clear why I speak like this, because I understand that these people are going to be single and lonely as they age. The cost of taking care of them as they age and they don't have anyone, right? Everybody makes fun of men dying in a nursing home and nobody coming to see them. I don't think women understand like what that's going to mean for them. A whole lot of uncoupled ass people approaching their 70s, you know, their late 60s, their 70s, their, if they live that long, their 80s, uncoupled. Well, women died later than men anyway. And you never had the experience. You know, listening to PK speak, and shout out to PK Angel, and you think to yourself that there are people that are in their early 30s right now that have never been in a relationship, like never. It's always been short-term situationships for a few months, if even. Right? I'm not sure about Ostefko, but it sounds like she might be one of these people too, and she's a couple years older than me. It's one thing to, you know, you've been in a relationship once or twice, you might have been single for a few years. Okay, that's a different situation. But to think that we have people, millennials and Gen Z, well, the oldest of Gen Z, they're still young, so, you know, who have never been in a relationship. The reason why we speak the way we speak is to essentially say to the technocrats and the social designers and whoever they are, if you want to continue a US population worth a damn and a workforce worth a damn, you can only immigrate, yeah, right? So many people. You can only bring so many people in through immigration. You're going to have men and women in America couple up to have children. And how is that supposed to happen when the XX chromosome thinks they're so much better than the XY chromosome and want you as the state to break the will of the XY chromosome and bend them to the XX chromosome's preference, which is essentially a man with an on and off switch when it comes to patriarchy and duty and manhood and masculinity, etc., etc. Right? Huh. So when I say let them talk, once again, it's because I know that Chrissy is listening. And if she's listening, I like to remind her of what her subscribers and the the like, how they've spoken on these internets for the past few years. Shira7, right? Chrissy and I'm sorry, I already said Chrissy, Paris and Yanni, right? Huh. But not just them. People of note. right? We have to we have to make sure that there's nowhere for these people at the Kimberly Crenshaws. We have to look at what the people you claim to advocate for, black women, look at what they've done with your concept of intersectionality. Look how they have used it to marginalize and minimize the plight of black boys and black men. Look how they've weaponized it against black men and black boys. Essentially telling black men and black boys, hey, we're further down on the ladder, so everything you talk about don't matter. All you are is a failed patriarch anyway. Let's actually modify that. All you are is a failed white patriarch anyway. That's why I say let them talk. Why do I say let them talk? So that you can show Christine Imba, oh yeah, this is what divestors are. This is what swirlers are, right? As Lil Bill said to FD Signifier, when white folks come across these type of comments, wait, black women talk like that? I'm gonna go get me a white man. Da, 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 da. Yes, yes, yes. That's why I say let them talk. When Kobe Bryant dies and black women are throwing a damn party on his grave, on him and his daughter's grave, on the internet for everyone to see, and this man had never said anything disparaging that we know of about black women, but they're throwing a party just because he wasn't married to a black woman, let them talk. Do y'all notice how far everyone stayed away from that? Everyone stayed away from that because there was no excuse. This is not Kevin Samuels. This is not, no one, right? Just and they let and here's the kicker. They let it be known. Yeah, we're doing this because he wasn't married to a black woman. No other reason. Right? For no other reason than he was rich and famous and he didn't marry a black woman and then he died and then those resources aren't going to a black woman. Right? Huh. That's why we say let them talk. That's why we bring up Chrissy. And that's why I think, and I'm when I continuously bring up her and mention her, and now that we're pretty certain that she listens, it's not to mock her. Not on that, not for that anyway. It's not to mock her. It is to say, Chrissy, if you feel a certain way, you should. If you feel a certain level of guilt or shame, you should. That's not actually a bad thing. You should do something about that. You should be honest with your subscribers. But if you feel shame and guilt and a little apprehensive, like, oh, he's right. That's gonna cost, right? You should. You should. That's not a bad thing. Right? But cuffing season, how many of your subscribers are going to be single for cuffing season? Right? And Lion said, I've seen the fresh and fit chats. Those dudes are not feeling black women at all. Look, man, a lot of brothers in the black manosphere, let's be very clear. And this lets you know it's the environment because okay, let's go through it first. A lot of brothers in the black manosphere are married to, have been married to black women. Baby moms are black women. They prefer black women. They date black women. They exclusively date black women. And their sons do not. Their literal biological sons that they raised do not. Now, if your father exclusively dates black women, is married to your mom, or divorced your mom, and then only still exclusively dates black women, we want to say that father is raising his son to not date black women? Could it possibly be the environment, Chrissy? Can it possibly be these rude, entitled, a-hole black women, Chrissy? Huh? Yanni? Paris? We have a lot of brothers, and I'm not going to say their names, that have let us know, right, that their sons date, and it's not even white women, it's Latinas. We've been told you, stop paying attention to the white women. Brothers ain't really checking for white women like that, like that. Ain't nobody checking for Becky like that, like that. But Consuela, whew, right? So we have to be honest. Like I said it, dear America, Black America, y'all raised entitled, snarky, mean, condescending, materialistic, consumerist a-holes as daughters. And the Black manosphere is just this little thing that's making moves and making some noise. But if we're going to be honest, most black men are not saying anything. They just leaving. They're just leaving. It's not even passport bros. Passport bros, as a percentage, is not going to register. No, they're just leave. They're SYSBM. That's where I would argue most black men are. Whether they know about the Black manosphere or not, I would argue most black men are SYSBM. And if we're going to be honest about dating and marriage, black women, y'all not going to be able to duplicate those numbers. The more black men that leave is less black men for you. That's less partners, period, for you. That's less husbands, less boyfriends, less baby daddies for you. You're not going to be able to make it up on the back end with white men and Latino men because they're too damn racist. We're not saying that the Latinas and the white girls aren't racist. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is easier to get them to move than to get the white and Latino men to move, as evidenced by black women's own dating history. We don't even have to go back to Jim Crow. We could start the clock 2 decades ago. We could start the clock a decade ago. The dating divide says it, right? Dadicalism says it. But your ego won't let you accept it. Don't worry, the environment will make you, Chrissy. Don't worry. Eventually, Chrissy, I said it a couple years ago, and I have a real life friend who listens to me, and he said, "Z, you got to be careful saying that." And I want to be very clear what I'm speaking about. I said, your subscribers are gonna have some real. They're gonna come and see you. Maybe not in real life, but on social media and on the internet. Oh yeah, they're gonna come and see you. When they wake up to the fact that all you were was a little bitter, angry troll, and you sent your subscribers on a dummy mission to be the bust downs for non-black men, primarily white men, let's call it thing a thing, and they're in their 30s with no prospects in sight, oh yeah, they're gonna come and see you, Chrissy. And that's why, a few months ago, you were chastising them for not dating out. Now they trying. A few months ago, you were chastising them for not really trying to date out. Then, when you read that Business Insider article, you purposely ignored the point that the author was trying to say, which is like, yeah, these black women are open to dating out in college, and these non-black dudes are piping and leaving. Pretty much tell him, yeah, I'm not looking for nothing serious. And then a week or two later, she sees him walking down the hall holding some other chick's hand. You ignored that part, Chrissy. Then you told, yeah, we might have to compete. You might have to compete. Oh, there we go. No competition for black men, but compete for the men that are most likely not to do anything with you but have some bedroom fun, if even that. Right? And Mr. Shook to you says, bros are scooping up border crossers here in the Chi-town in Chicago. Hey, there's a couple of brothers that some in the comments, some that speak and come up on panels that have let us know exactly what Mr. Shook to you is saying, right? So, hey, Mr. Shook to you makes a good point, and thank you for the super chat. And no placeholder, thank you for the super sticker. But you guys, Mr. Z is gonna have to make a hard stop. I know, I know. Um, we will come back tonight. We'll stream tonight. We'll stream tonight. Um, yeah. So let's pause right here on the conversation. We might actually add. I'm gonna go listen to the Themis. Oh boy. Oh God. I'm gonna listen to the Themis stream I was speaking to you guys about earlier, and let's see what he was saying. Jesus. The fact that black women, and you know what, I'm not gonna do it. Too easy. Lion said panel. I don't know. Let's see how I feel, but I definitely want to do a panel on Friday. But we might do a panel tonight. Let's see. Possibly, right? Possibly. And so we will pause right here, everyone. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content, and all right, everyone. Y'all have a great night. GCC glutton for punishment, hysterical. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great night. Oh no, I know, Lion. I know. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. And Lion says tonight. I mean the about a panel. We'll see. All right, y'all. Later.